My favorite way to eat ginger is in a crunchy ginger cookie. And no, I am not a baker, I buy them at the store. The thing is, when it comes to ginger, there are tons of really cool and very surprising recipes, both sweet and savory. So in this episode, we are going to look at 5 ginger dishes from 5 countries. None of them are cookies. That's okay.
Hi Beryl, my name is Maria and I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and the dish that I want to share with you is called ginger beef. Ginger beef is a dish of battered and fried strips of beef coated in a sweet, sour, sticky sauce. It is usually served with very thinly sliced carrots and goes great with rice or noodles. It has such a delicious combination of flavors. Many people here in Canada think of ginger beef as a Chinese food staple, but it was actually invented right here in Calgary. It is believed that it was invented by George Wong, a Chinese-Canadian chef at the Silver Inn here in Calgary in the 1970s. He created this dish in an attempt to make Chinese food more popular for Canadians. Albertans are very proud of the beef that is raised here. Interestingly, ginger was not in the original recipe, but people called it ginger beef thinking that there was ginger in the sauce. The name caught on, and now recipes will include ginger in the sauce, which makes the perfect balance of flavors. Growing up, my mom used to make Chinese food from scratch on New Year's Day. This was quite a big job, so eventually we just started ordering in. We would always order ginger beef, so this dish reminds me of New Year's Day and celebrating with my family. Now that I have a family of my own, this is a tradition that we've continued. People should try ginger beef because it is a great example of combining cuisines. In this case, Chinese-inspired flavors with Alberta's favorite protein, beef. I hope you enjoy ginger beef. Thanks for trying.
I'm always kind of impressed when I'm able to make what feels like takeaway food at home. The kitchen smelled really good, but I was very intimidating frying the beef without having the safety of my deep fryer, but I think it worked out pretty well. Well, let's taste it. Yum! Whoa. Wow, well, I would say that I definitely made something delicious. I have a real soft spot for food history and learning about foods that have been adapted to fit local palates. And this dish is obviously the perfect confluence of where you have Chinese cuisine meeting a Canadian audience and a chef creating something new, which is really exciting. Canada, interestingly enough, is also the birthplace of the California roll, if you've ever heard of that little guy. I was assuming when I made this that the batter was going to be thicker, but it seems like it's kind of more like a wash type of batter. Oftentimes, I guess you double fry the beef, but I was feeling just a little overwhelmed by all the oil, so I was like, okay, I'm only gonna do it once. But I do think if I had double fried it, it probably would have been like a little crispier and a little yummier. The texture of the beef is not crunchy. It's like still a little bit chewy, but not chewy as if like, oh, yeah, weirdly overcooked some meat. It's just still got like a little bit of that texture to it. I think this is also like, I'm just guessing here. If you cut these even smaller, then you would get it to be even crispier. The first time I did it, I did big pieces and I was immediately like, no. These have to be tinier. And it was the right call to make them smaller. As this is a ginger dish, I definitely went heavy on the ginger when I was stir frying it, and you can taste like the bite of the ginger in here. I love that originally this dish didn't even have ginger, and then people were like, let's add the ginger back into it. This is obviously not a dish where if the ginger doesn't make it in, it doesn't work, but without the ginger, you won't have that bite in the back of the sauce, which makes it like a very robust and delicious meal. So I think it works really well for the ginger episode. It's gingery, it's different, and I got to learn some cool food history, which I just love.
My name is Tingwei. I've been living in Berlin, Germany for 12 years. I'm originally from China. Today I want to share a dessert with you. It's called ginger milk curd, or in Chinese, it's called 姜汁撞奶. It originates from Shanwantang, Guangdong province. It's one of the most popular desserts in Cantonese cuisine. The literal meaning of its Chinese name is ginger juice bumping into milk. As the name refers, the ginger proteases and the milk protein have a maximum reaction at 70 degrees Celsius and condense to form a solid curd. It looks like panna cotta or egg pudding. The texture is also similar, but the flavor is spicy and milky. It's very common across China in Cantonese restaurant or street dessert shop. But normally you have to order it, sit down, and as it's served, you have to wait for a minute or two just for the milk to become the milk curd. It's very special and well-known dessert to choose from a variety of Cantonese warm dishes. I grew up in the northern part of China, and as I first heard about this ginger milk curd dessert, I was so fascinated. It's the most popular warm dessert for girls and women, especially in winter time or during their monthly special time. It can always warm you up, and the stomach becomes very comfortable as well. You should definitely try and experiment with the ratio and the temperature of the very simple ingredients yourself at home, like in the chemistry lab. Enjoy!
I can't believe this is a thing, first of all, and I can't believe that it worked. Like, can you see this? Zoom in. More. Too close. I have no idea what this could possibly taste like. Oh my god, it tastes so good. It is so smooth and soft. Whoa. Okay, so the milk powder that I used was coconut milk powder. So there's also like a bit of coconut flavor going on in here, which is really, really good. You totally taste the ginger. It's not overpowering. It's like balanced. This is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Also like a science project in essence, right? Like it was so exciting, like seeing it when I rested the spoon on top and it just stayed there.
Oh my god.
The trick is, and I'll put the B-roll again here to show you again, that at the bottom of the ginger juice, you'll see this like white film. That is the ginger starch, and that is what makes this coagulate. So when you're making it, you need to make sure that that gets into the bowl. So if you have the ginger juice in another bowl and you're gonna transfer it again, you need to make sure that you mix it all up again and let it settle. So I had a lot of extra ginger juice, and I always see these like health girlies on TikTok taking ginger shots, and I've never taken a ginger shot. And I was like, oh, this will be great. Like I'll take a ginger shot, but I don't know. This might be silly. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so spicy. Are these girls really doing that? That burned. Are they putting sugar in it? That better make me healthy. I need some milk pudding. This ginger milk pudding is phenomenal. Make it. Don't do the ginger shot.
Hi everyone, I'm Minu. I live in Kochi, a city in the state of Kerala, also known as God's own country in India. The dish I want to talk to you about today is called inji puli or puli inji. So inji is ginger and puli is tamarind, and I think it is rightfully named so. Inji puli is usually had like a chutney or a condiment along with other dishes because it is so flavorful. It's almost like a flavor bomb. Inji puli has a brown, dense, almost jammy kind of consistency. It is one of those humble dishes which can elevate anything that it is paired with. It is sweet, tangy, spicy, all in one. Also, ginger is having a lot of medicinal properties, like it aids with digestion and gastric emptying. So I think it's no surprise that it is paired with a huge feast like a sadhya. Inji puli is known all over Kerala by all Keralites, and I don't think there will be anybody who doesn't like this dish because it's a crowd favorite. Ginger is very common in Indian cooking. In fact, I think almost every Indian dish starts with sauteing of ginger and garlic paste. So I think it is no surprise that ginger has a dish to claim as its own. These days, restaurants are even experimenting with inji puli, coming up with dishes like inji puli chicken wings, which are basically chicken wings coated with inji puli paste. So yeah, I think it is versatile in that way. I recommend everyone try this dish because it is so easy to make with easily available ingredients, and I don't think anybody would dislike the taste. You can pair it with rice, roti, chapati, paratha, even as a relish on a toast, or even you can use it as a dipping sauce for chicken wings or french fries. It's up to you. It is the possibilities are endless. Again, thank you for having me on your show. I hope you enjoyed the dish. Bye, take care.
Well, I asked for a ginger forward dish, and truly, if you remove the ginger, the dish would just be like curry leaves and some spices. So yeah, she's gonna be gingery. I have it with a stuffed radish paratha, and I have it with some rice, so we can try it both ways. I get the idea that you might want to use this kind of like Indian pickle, so a little goes a long way. You don't need like a whole spoonful of it. It's got a kick. Woo! Okay. There were 5 green chilies in this, plus the red chilies in the tempering, plus it's ginger. The tamarind and the jaggery, oh man, my tongue's on fire. I just gotta have some rice here. That is not for the faint of heart. Food from Kerala, every time I have it, I find the spice to be astronomical. The tamarind and the jaggery give it this kind of caramelly sweetness. So paired with the very spicy spiciness of it, it's nice. I mean, it's not even, but the pairing is there. All right, we're going in for a second bite here. I like it. I just am like too weak for it. You know, like when something tastes really good and you're like, I know it tastes good, but it's so spicy. My tongue is like fighting against the heat to try to get to the other flavors that I like. But I do think it's got that like, oh no. Oh no. I have heat hiccups. Hold on. Okay. I think they're gone. Okay. You know what I realized it is? It's like when you taste it, it is sweet in the front and you're thinking like, oh, the jaggery, the tamarind, it's nice. And then the chili and the ginger just like come in and they're like, this is our house. And then your mouth is on fire. That's what it's like. I feel like India always comes through with these wildly inventive dishes that feature ingredients in a way that like you just don't realize they can be featured. You know, when I said like, let's do a ginger episode, you know, a lot of the dishes are like ginger goes in with like all these other things and it's like, you know, it's the star, but like if you removed it, you could probably still have, no. This is ginger, and India's not messing around when they're like, here's a ginger dish. I'm amazed, I'm inspired, I'm also on fire.
Hi Beryl, my name is Moliehi. I'm originally from the Kingdom of Lesotho, which is a small country in the middle of South Africa. It is not part of South Africa, it's an independent country. I now live in the United States, in the Southeast United States. The dish I want to share with you is actually not a dish. It's a drink made of ginger. It's called Khemere. Khemere is made very simply with ginger, of course, water, sugar, and then to kickstart the fermentation, you add yeast. Some people don't add yeast and you just let it wild ferment, capturing all the yeasts in the air, and then it just takes a little bit longer. Typically, Khemere is drank at any large gathering that you have. So it could be a wedding, birthdays, sometimes funerals or holidays like Christmas and Easter. And it is a wonderful drink. My best memories of Khemere would be, as a kid, you'd be playing outside at a wedding or whatever, and you'd come in all sweaty and ask for Khemere. It's usually made in these giant barrels. You'd get a sip and the flavor and the cold would just hit you. It's spicy, bubbly from the fermentation and then cold and just tasty and sweet. And it would be so refreshing on a hot afternoon to drink. So I highly recommend Khemere. There are similar drinks in other countries that people have that are ginger beers, but I think the way that we make it in Lesotho is unique and special. I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye.
So I left this drink to ferment for 4 days in my closet with the door shut. And I gave it like a little bit of a shake every day. And the bubbles coming up, I mean, it smells kind of like tepache, this fermented pineapple drink. I'm very curious. Whoa. It tastes like alcohol. Like, this tastes boozy. Can something ferment to become boozy this quickly? There's like a little bit of effervescence in it. You can taste the yeast, you can taste the sweetness of the pineapple, and then there's like the sharpness of the ginger. It definitely doesn't have like a sweetness to it. It's got more like a funkiness to it, but like a pineapple ginger funk. I feel like if you wanted, you could add a little bit more simple syrup to this to up the sweetness factor, or even some more pineapple juice, but then you'll still get that kind of like funky, jazzy drink that we've got going on here. Whoa. Wild. I think it's so exciting that we have a submission from Lesotho. I'm just gonna show you guys on a map in case you don't know where Lesotho is. Did you know about Lesotho? To be honest, it's like definitely not up there in like the countries we learned about in school. So I was really excited when I got a submission from there. I was immediately like, oh my gosh, yes, Lesotho. This kind of reminds me of the episode that I very recently did on fermented foods and like just how cool fermentation is. You can see the bubbles forming inside of this. When I opened it, I could hear it. It was like, I was like, hello? This is super simple to make. It's got a really cool flavor. And if you're somebody who's into fermentation, like, I would definitely recommend trying this because it was cool to make and it tastes good.
Hi Beryl, my name's Siri and I come from London in the UK, but my family's originally from Thailand. The dish that I want to tell you about is called Kalman Gai, which kind of translates to rice with chicken fat. It's based on Hainanese chicken, but with a Thai twist. So the dish is made of poached chicken, and the stock that you use to poach the chicken is then used to make rice, and also a broth to accompany the main dish. The thing I love the most about the Kalman Gai though is the sauce. It's a pungent, powerful, strong sauce that when you have it with that delicately flavoured chicken and the mild broth is so nice. It reminds me of my mother. It's probably one of the first dishes that I asked her to show me how to make, and every time I have it, it just fills my heart with joy. In the UK, Kalman Gai is not that easy to come by if you go to a restaurant. But in Thailand, it's the kind of thing that you would just buy in the street. So I think this is why the recipe that I have is a very simplified version, but it still hits all the spots.
I have plated this to perfection. I think honestly, this looks pretty as a picture. I'm very proud of it. I am also super excited by this sauce with the fermented bean. Oh yeah. It's like tangy and like really earthy and vinegary and gingery. Okay, let's go for some chicken. I guess I'm gonna do like a complete bite here. Well, that wasn't a complete bite. It's 3 parts of a bite. Chicken, rice, sauce. Oh my God. Not to quote Guy Fieri, but I'm on my way to Flavortown, baby. Ooh, that is fabulous. That is fabulous. So you also serve it with some of the chicken broth that you've made. Kind of like a deconstructed soup on your plate. This sauce is the thing of my dreams. I want to put this sauce on everything. I want to put this sauce on the rice. Come here, let me do this. While this isn't exactly like the Indian dish where if you remove the ginger, it doesn't work, like this is very ginger forward. And the ginger with the fermented bean paste, it's like my happy place combination. I just love funk, you know? Funk with cucumbers also, by the way. It's like freshness meets funkiness, and it's also just like the perfect tango pair. I'm doing a lot of like similes right now. I need to calm down on it. This meal was incredibly simple to make. I will leave a link to the bean paste that I used. You can buy it online. I found it just like actually at the grocery store. And it's the same paste that you can make mapo tofu with, so you can use it for more than one thing. I also like that you cooked the rice with the broth from the chicken that you boiled. It kind of like this whole dish is like made from itself. And I think that that's really cool. I love this. I'm happy. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Literally! Looking back at all 5 of these dishes, it's amazing to see how ginger is used around the world. I would love to know any other recipes. Leave a comment if there is a ginger dish that all of us should definitely know about. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're looking for more, here is my garlic episode, garlic and ginger, and here is a mango episode because it was just a delicious episode and you should watch it. I will see you all in my next video.